Eric, Chapter 5. There may have been something that's more cooler than flying your own wings, but I can't imagine what it is. Rollerblading? Ha! Surfing? Big deal. Skydiving? Closer, but not halfway to actual flying. Nothing is as cool as flying. It was after school that day. I finished English paper exactly 9 seconds before the teacher came around to collect it. Then I got on history and assigned another paper. That's the nature of school, though. It never really ends. But finally, the bell rang into blessed freedom. I was out there looking for a quiet place to morph. I wanted to check up on Eric, and I remembered the fear and all of it made it seem more important, though I wasn't sure why. I climbed on the roof of their gym. Of course, no one was supposed to go up there, but hey, it was for a good reason. I'm working on an osprey, a bird, kind of a hawk that lives near water. I spread my broad wings and flew away from the school. Tell me you haven't sat there in some boring class where the teacher went on and on and on and on about how x equaled y would only be multiplied by pi and wish you could just fly out the window. Well, I can't fly out of class, so I morphed to be a lot of screaming hysteria, but I can come close. Kids are still piling the buses I call a nice little headway and use it to go airborne. I assumed high level kids hang for their buses and all the teachers hang for their cars. People are just ovals of black, brown, blonde, and red hair. There's also a person who looks like 100 feet up, a hair oval. I never felt totally alive as when I'm in Hawkmoor. The bison have it all bad in some ways. They're a lot of worse animals to be. I felt a thermal, a pillow of warm air build up beneath my wings and I went for it. Zoom. Like riding an elevator top floor, up and up. The warm current swept me higher and higher. Now the hero was just dots and the buses were bright yellow toys pulling away from the school. But even from 500 feet up in the air as high as a 50-story building, I still see faces behind school bus windows. What osprey eyes is like wearing binoculars. I floated up there, wings spread wide, my tail fanned out, catch every bit of lift. My talons tucked back against the underside of my body. Air rushed over the leading edge of my wings, making a slight fluttering sound. Wind flowed over my streamlined head, and I felt the hooked beak pointed forward to maintain every ounce of momentum. I rode a thermal as high as it could carry me. I learned that from Tobias. See, a thermal will give you altitude for almost no effort, and you can turn the altitude into distance. It's like soaring to the top of a mountain and skiing down the slopes in whatever direction you want to go. It did require some hard flapping to get to Eric's neighborhood, though. I spotted Tobias far off when he used to be invisible to the human eye. He was riding the wind just like me, maybe a little more style since I had so much experience. When I closer to try thought speak, I called to him. Tobias, can you hear me? I can hear and see you, Marco. I've been watching for 20 minutes. No way, I just spied you. You have to know what to look for, Marco. By the way, to count to 3, we need to make a very sharp turn. Turn? Why? Just do it. 1, 2, 3. I raised one wing, lowered the air, skewed my tail, and called a sudden left. Boom! Ah! A missile blew past me and it seemed like 1,000 miles an hour. One coming from the ground upward and rolling from the sky down, and the missile had feathers. The wind from the passing unit knocked me off balance. It was half a mile away down south by the time I could even think of focusing. I swept back on slate gray wings and a tight tail. I saw it diving away from me so fast like I was standing still. What was that? I yelled. Welcome to my world, Tobias said. That's a Perigene falcon. You know, like Jake's morph. You should prefer knocking out a tasty pigeon or a duck. It must have been the way you were flying. Probably thought you were a big clumsy duck. Jeez, what did I do to make him mad? Shake it off, Tobias advised. He missed right. I know that bird. He's not as good as he thinks he is. He's taken a shot at me before. He must be hungry. Suddenly flying didn't seem nearly as fun. Yeah, I'll shake it off. That should be easy as I'm shaking for at least another hour. It's not all just riding thermals, Tobias said dry. Come on, you want to see your boy Eric? I went closer to Tobias. Much closer. This is his world up in the air and he knew what he was doing. And by the way, thanks. Always remember to look up, and the danger is usually above you. But on a lighter note, that's him right there. He walks home from school. See him? Coming into the corner? I spotted the oval hair below me. Yeah, I see him. I watched him this morning on his way in. I watched him play soccer during gym. They play soccer? They play soccer during gym? You never gonna play soccer. Now he's heading home. I'm gonna let you take over because I'm hungry. Also, I'm bored looking at the top of his head. Did he do anything weird or different? He scored a goal in soccer. Does that count? Hey, look. I noticed 3 guys closing in behind him. Something the way they moved caught my attention. I have to notice like they were hunting him. Ah, that's not good, Tobias said. I would spilled air from her wings and dive when a closer look. See if I saw one of the guys behind Eric, especially I'd seen before, the idiot giggling sneer of a bully. Some of the guys raced forward. Eric spotted them and started to run. It was a street on the edge of a development. A lot of traffic to Eric's left and stone wall to the right. The stone wall ended 50 yards away where it opened for the entrance to the subdivision. As the guys in control, these punks are making a big mistake. They make him today, but they'll regret it later. Maybe I'll just get one jerk a little talent haircut, Tobias said. Tobias hates bullies. Back when he was human, he was a kid most likely get pounded on. Jake met Tobias when Tobias' head was just by flushing a toilet. Naturally, Jake helped him. I don't think Star Sable was too late. He's gonna swoop and aim for the biggest guy's head. It happened in a flash. Eric ran and tripped and sprawled forward out in the street. He slammed the broadside of a passing bus. Wham! I could hear the impact from up in the air, and then just for a second, Eric wasn't there anymore. Something else was there. Something seemed made of patches of steel and milk-like plastic. Then the next split second, Eric was back, a normal boy lying winded on the sidewalk. The bullies ran off. The bus driver never even noticed. Tobias opened his wings and nearly stopped in the air. Did you see that? Yeah, I did. What was that? I don't know, I said, but I know what it wasn't. It wasn't human. Chapter 6. We need to talk to Axe, said Tobias. Definitely, that's not what I want human. That was seriously not human. You did see it, right? I'm not crazy? Yes, you are crazy, but I did see it, Tobias said. Very weird. Below us, Eric climbed up off the sidewalk, dressed himself like nothing happened, and resumed walking. Hang your right, Tobias said. We have some good updrafts off the road. Whatever your friend Eric is, I don't think he's somewhere around here. We flew hard and fast toward home. Tobias split off into round up Axe. I need Morgan to head home to check on my dad and let him know I still existed. Then I called Jake. I got Tom instead. Hey Tom, is Jake around there? I don't know. Jake, he yelled. He said he's coming. Cool. I haven't seen you around here much, Tom said. Keeping busy? Felt a little chill. It's weird talking to controllers so you know that's what they are. It was Tom's voice and acted like him, but it wasn't Tom. Tom was cowering helplessly in the corner of his own mind. I was talking to a Yerk. Yeah, I guess so. Uh-huh. We're going to the lake doing some water skiing. You and Jake? Yeah, right. No, me and the Sherry. You know Jake's too much of a social misfit to join, so totally human big brother laugh of derision. It's just we have too many girls going on enough guys. That was a lie, of course. A lie is supposed to entice me. Why is he suddenly trying to get me interested in the Sherry again? You could have given me the answer. Heard your dad's back at work. That's cool. Yeah, I guess so, I said. My father, after a bad time with mom, died. Now he was back at work. He was an engineer, but he's heavily involved in computers as well. He'd been working on a new observatory the way he designed software to aim telescopes better. He's also working on some projects he couldn't even talk about, ones I figured must involve the military. You could bring your dad, Tom said casually. I mean, not like anyone wants their fathers along usually, right? But I mean, maybe so you get back out there in the world and all. Sharing's a good place to make business connections, you know? Yeah, I'll ask him, I said. Do that, okay? Your dad probably have some downtime to relax, take it easy, meet some people. They're after my father now. I felt something burning inside me, like I'd taken a gulp of lava. I wanted to reach for a phone and take a baseball bat to the evil creature in Tom's head. Here's Jake, Tom said, a scuffing sound as he handed the phone off in Jake's voice. Hey Marco, what's up? I went off on, what's up? What's up? Those scumbags are after my father, that's what up. How do you live with that? How do you look at that piece of crap every day? He's like, bring your dad to the sharing, do a father-son bonding thing, and oh, by the way, would you mind if we stuck a... Shut up, Jake hissed. I shut up. My hand was squeezing the receiver so hard I could have snapped it. Jake let me calm down for a minute. He made noises of the phone like he was listening to me talking. He made a couple of laughing sounds, guess Tom wasn't too far away. I knew Jake was right. We don't talk secrets over the phone. There's no way of knowing who might be listening in. Okay, I said. I'm cool. I wasn't cool, but I was under control again. That sounds good to me, Jake said, still pretending to have a conversation. We have to get together, I said. It's a nice day out. I was thinking we should meet in the woods. Okay, later, he said casually. He hung up. I took a couple of deep breaths. I then took a couple more. The Yerks had taken my mother. They weren't getting my father. Before that happened, I'd tell him everything. Before that happened, I'd take Tom down no matter what Jake said. I'd take Tom, Chapman, and every control I knew of where I'd let them have my father. I had power. Deadly animals lived inside me. Their DNA swam in my own. I could feel that rage flowing through me, the blind, violent rage, and became little films in my head, little head movies of revenge and destruction. I pictured the things I'd do to Tom, the Chapman, someday even to Visitor 3. I would do terrible things to them. Terrible, violent things. It was a sick feeling. It was sick and I knew it, and yet I ran those images over and over in my head. Because rage is addictive, you know. It's sort of like a drug. Anger and hatred get you high. They get you high, but it's like any addiction. They haul you out and tear you down and eat you alive. I guess I knew all that. But all I could think of was that they're not getting my father. So those scenes of violence ran over and over in my head. I rode that rush of fury till it lasted, burned stuff out, left me feeling empty and beaten. Chapter 7. I hooked up with Jake and two of us rode our bikes to Cassie's farm. He didn't say anything about a conversation with Tom. He knew how I felt. We all felt it before. From Cassie's farm we walked across the fields to the edge of the forest. There's a place we meet there deep enough in the trees and no one's likely to see us. Rachel and Cassie are already there. Cassie was on her knees in the pine needles looking for a burrow hole. I have no idea what was in there, but she seemed fascinated. Rachel was sitting on a fallen log. Tobias stopped finding axe, Rachel says as we approached. I think there's 3 of them, Cass said. I guess she saw whatever's in that burrow. So what's the big panic, Rachel said. Poor Jake Arcane started something crashing over the bush. He leaped into view, sailing over a log Rachel was sitting on. Accidentally Iskroth Ishtil. Hey Axe, I said, very dramatic entrance. Of course, any entrance by Axe is going to be dramatic. He's an Andalite, and the only Andalites survive when their dome ship was destroyed by Yerks in high orbit. He's an alien. You know in Star Trek, aliens are just always humans with a little nose putty or bad outfits. They look basically human, act human, and speak English? Well, Axe isn't like that. You take one look at him and you know he's not from around here. Picture a sort of big blue and tan deer, but instead of a deer neck and head, you have a semi-human chest with weak arms, topped by a head that's definitely odd. He has no mouth and 4 eyes. 2 of his eyes are in a usual location, but his other 2 eyes are mounted on stalks at the top of his head. The stalk eyes can aim totally independently. He can look right at your 2 main eyes, still look behind him with one stalking off to the right with his other. It's kind of unsettling until you get used to it, but not nearly as unsettling as the tail. The tail makes you think scorpion. It curves up and over so very sharp blade tip usually poised somewhere above his sloping shoulders. It's fast and dangerous. Very fast, very dangerous. Basically, it can slice and dice a human into chunks in about 2 seconds. Luckily, Axe is on our side. Hello, Prince Jake. Margot. Rachel. Cassie, did you lose something? She stood up and after all she brushed off her knees. Baby opossum, she said by way of explanation. Too big for the pouch, but not ready to leave the den. Don't tell Tobias said he'll eat them. I already know about them, Tobias said. Looked up in surprise he was in a tree above us. I didn't hear him arrive. Cassie shrugged. Tobias is a hawk. He has the right to be a hawk. A little bit of Tobias and smell. Of course, they're awfully cute. Aw, man, Tobias groaned. Okay, this litter's off limits. Happy now? You're a sweetheart, Tobias, Cassie said. We should move on. We talked about just some kids playing soldiers about 300 yards west. Let's stay out of range. We all started walking west. Tobias went up again to scout for any danger. Oh, walking east, sorry. Okay, Marco, Jake said after a few minutes, it's your party. What's up? I told him what Tobias and I had seen. Tobias came back and had some details. I looked to Axe. So, Axe, what does it sound like to you? You're the official alien. Axe turned to look at me and making eye contact with his main eyes. Margot, something has happened to your hair. I believe it's become shorter. Are you suffering from some sort of illness? That does it, I yelled as all the others broke out giggling. It'll grow out, alright? It'll grow out. Besides, it's easier to take care of. Man, I make one little change. Have I said something wrong? Axe wondered. No, Jake assured him not at all. Margot's just a little sensitive. Go ahead, what do you make of this Eric person? I don't know. It doesn't sound like any species I know of. What? Dude, you're the expert on aliens, to point out. Marco, even we analysts do not know every species in the galaxy. I swear he sounded embarrassed, but since using thoughts being made sounded in the right word. You don't recognize the description? No. The way you describe it sounds like a robot or something, Rachel ventured, but how does it pass for human? Oh, that is technologically possible, Axe relieved to add something to her speculation. It's probably a holographic projection, like your primitive TV, but three-dimensional. Primitive TV? Hey, we have cable at my house. Axe didn't think it was funny, but Cassie smiled. Tobias looked low over her head and came to rest on a branch. So when hit by a bus, he drops the hologram for a split second. The power supply may have been interrupted or overloaded, Axe suggested, but that's an interesting question. What is the supply? It would take a great deal of power to maintain such a hologram after hour and day after day. Maybe he's nuclear powered, I said. Axe laughed, and I realized I wasn't joking. I don't think nuclear power is likely. Still sort of giggling, I'm a primitive moron. I think it would take something much more advanced. Is there any way to see through this hologram? Cassie asked. We could hit with something like a bus, Rachel suggested. Now there's a classic Rachel suggestion, I said with a laugh. I was feeling a little better hanging out with my friends. Marco found that McSharing's having a little water skiing thing up in the lake, Jake said. He bit his lip and added, Tom told him. Eric said sharing. He's probably there too. For a chance to get a good look at him. That's the where. Now we just need the how. X thought for a second as we ambled through the woods. The hologram is meant to trick humans. It would be tuned for human sight. Hawkeyes are better than human but see on similar wavelengths. Perhaps a totally different sort of vision would be able to penetrate the hologram. My heart sank. I knew it was coming next. Some gross morph. Unusual visions are especially Rachel said with a careless laugh. She slapped my back like life is just one big adventure. Sometimes she really grinds my nerves. No bugs, okay? All I'm saying is no more insect morphs. Is that too much to ask? That feels like one of those monkey paw moments. Chapter 8. I guess it was too much to ask, so I found out a couple days later. What do you mean we're going to draw straws? Said suspiciously. To see morphs a new morph, Rachel said. Axe is in regardless. We need expertise on aliens. Why don't us go with him? What's the morph? I said suspiciously. Spider, Cassie said. We were at East her barn. It was Saturday morning. On Friday, I found out I'd gotten a B in my English paper. How cool is that? I'd stay out watching TV. My dad had been late for the meeting. That's kind of insane. They cooked up when I wasn't here. Excuse me? I must have something wrong in my ears. Because, see, I heard you say spider, and I remember saying no insects. Cassie held her hand to me, and what was in her hand was a spider. It's not an insect. The arachnids have 8 legs and 2 body segments. Insects have 6 and 3 segments. I sort of looked at that spider and almost passed out. Since I knew we were doing this today, I decided to do some reading. This is the wolf spider. They have pretty good eyesight. In fact, it has 8 eyes. She says like having 8 eyes is a good thing. Like that's something everyone should want. Go away, Cassie. Go away. Go away. Go away. I'm not morphing a spider. You can morph a spider. I don't like spiders. Well, he's missing out. I love spiders. Jake gave me a look. Margot, Cassie always gonna start doing new morphs. Besides, it's more your mission than anyone. What? Why? Why is this more my mission than yours or Rachel's? Jake shrugged. Eric's your friend. My friend? When did I ever say he's my friend? He's not my friend. I barely know the guy. Margot, you're such a wuss, Rachel said. Hey, you want to be a spider? She shuddered slightly. Sure. She was lying. I knew it. If I draw a short ball, I'd love to go to spider. Then she grinned and couldn't keep a straight face. Look, you don't have to do this, Jake said. It's just we're going to be during a meeting of the Sherry. The Yerks are going to be on alert for animals to fit in the environment. Whatever morph we use has to belong there. We can't show up as lions and tigers and bears. Oh my, Cassie interjected. We need good vision but not mammal-type eyes. We can't go all the same way. I want two of you to hang back as a rescue squad. Axe has to go because we need him to see if we can figure out what Eric is. Axe is going as a spider. We need someone to go with him. Has anyone told Axe about this? He was here earlier but you were sleeping in late. He said he thought a spider's body is much more versatile than a human body, Cassie said. His exact words are, good, with 8 legs it won't fall over like a human. Be glad we waited for you at all, Rachel growled. Just draw a straw. And Jake had 5 pieces of hay in his fist. There's no way to tell which was the shortest. I know how to beat this set. It's mathematical. I choose first, my odds are just 1 in 5. The next person has odds of 1 in 4, then 1 in 3, so the safest thing is to choose first. I took a deep breath, reached out, and yanked up a straw. I took another breath and looked at the very short straw. Really, it made sense mathematically. I felt like crying. Rachel rolled her eyes. You know, if you're gonna be a big baby, I'll do it. I should have said, okay, that's what I should have said. What I did say, Rachel, was, don't condescend to me, oh mighty Xena. Just because I'm not reckless idiot doesn't mean I'm a wuss. I never checked out Animorphs yet, and if accidents, so am I. You can hang back and be the backup, Rachel. I'm going where the action is. To which she replied with a very calm, okay. This my guys and girls should not be in comedy here. It's much harder for a guy to be a coward when some girl is watching, especially if he's all gung-ho. And if I mentioned Jake and Tobias, I've been weeping and groveling on the ground. Cassie held up the spider. It's not that bad. I ordered the spider yesterday just to see what it was like. Charlotte's Web was one of my favorite books. It will be, I muttered. Well, that was the clincher. Rachel was ready to go. Cassie had already done it. I reached out a finger and touched the spider. It was shaking. My finger, not the spider. I touched the spider's back. I tried to get away from her, but Cassie closed her hand around the tip of her finger. It became very still as I acquired it. Thanks to analytic technology to transform my spider DNA can enter my system. Maybe the Yerks were right. Maybe the Analytes are just big mellows in the universe. I know one thing, that moment I touch this bristly bite, I really wish the Analytes had found someone else to give this power to. Chapter 9. The lake is in the mountains, a long way from where any of us live. We had to walk it would have taken several days. Fortunately, we didn't have to walk. We have our own little airline, TWA, Travel at Animorphs. It was a beautiful day, just a few puffy clouds and a blue sky, bright sun, can't be a tree strapping beneath as we flew toward the mountains. My osprey wings spread right in the sun, toasting around the elevators of warm air as perfect as life gets. If you were looking back to heading toward utter, unspeakable grossness and certain destruction. Time to split up, Tobias, and the lake just over that ridge. We had not been playing Coast Guard, that would look very suspicious. 2 ospreys, a harrier, a bald eagle, a parrot, and a red-tailed hawk were flying together. Not in the natural world, but we were all within a mile of each other, heading in the same direction. Tobias went into a lazy upward spiral, hanging back. Rachel and Cassie split up too. The Yerks would have been in heavy security on the meeting. The Yerks know about morphing, and they'd be on alert. Max says, Harry morphed, Jake and his parrot falcon, and I flew toward the lake, still fall apart. You know, one of your kind tried to kill me the other day, I said to Jake. Tobias told me, Jake said, gotta watch out, falcons rule. Yeah, well, I didn't notice you didn't try a second time. Don't diss falcons, Jake said. Won't want a fair fight, an osprey kick your butt. As if, Jake sneered. Excuse me, Axon, but is there some special meaning to this conversation I don't understand? Yeah, the meaning is Jake and I are scared, so we're battling it, desperate ever not to think about it. Ah, I'm frightened too. I don't really like morphing tiny animals. I keep thinking about the rest of my mass. You're what? I asked, not really caring. I was focused on the morphing ahead. My mass. When you morph something smaller than yourself, your body mass must go somewhere, so it goes into zero space. It's a space where ships travel through when they're going faster than light. It is not very likely to happen, but sometimes a ship traveling in zero space will intersect with temporarily parked mass. That got my total attention. Well, wait a minute. Are you telling me we get small, the leftover stuff, the guts and flesh and bones go bulging into zero space like a big balloon of human tissue? Of course, where'd you think it went? I shared. I really didn't think about it. Jake was no more thrilled than I was. So right now this big bag of Jake floating in zero space and probably some spatial zoom along and hit and splatter all over it. No, of course not, Axe said. I breathed a huge sigh of relief. Too soon, it turned out. No ship would actually hit a floating mass, Axe said, and talking as if we were nitwits. The ship's shooting system disintegrates. That's what troubles me. It very seldom happens. The odds are millions to 1, but it could happen. We thought about this for a minute, about a ship disintegrating some big wad of our mass. It's not a pretty picture. Hey, Axe, Jake said, you know I wanted you to be honest with us, tell everything you know? Yes, Prince Jake. Small change. In the future, don't tell us anything that'll scare us silly just about to go into battle. A big wad of Marco in zero space, like hanging your butt out of the car window waiting for a truck to come along and sideswipe it off. Just a moment on top of the crest of a ridge, tall pines nearly scraped my belly, and there spread before me, sparkling the sun, a large lake nestled between the surrounding hills and mountains. Okay, boys, Jake said, this is where I peel off. Just one final words. I know spiders eat bugs, so do not, I repeat, do not eat any flies. I'll have enough to worry about in fly morph. Remind me again, why are we doing instead of staying home and sleeping in late? We're saving the world, Jake said. Oh yeah, great. My mask's hang out in a zero-space highway and become Spider-Man. I knew that'd be a pretty good reason. Chapter 10. There are probably 200 people on the lake below us. Boys, girls, older people. Some were just swimming, some were water skiing, some were grilling burgers and hot dogs over charcoal fires. A lot were just milling around, talking and laughing. You swear it's some big community picnic, for the air looks so normal, and probably most people below us were, but a lot of them were controllers, and one of them was Eric, who was certainly not normal. We stayed well back from the lakeshore and dropped down to the trees. It came to rest on the ground inside a cluster of tall bushes. My Osprey vision and hearing her revealed no one 100 yards, but I was tingling and nervous as just same. Shall we demorph? I said. Not yet, Tobias says he swung over us on the ground. So I waited there a little bit weird. Two birds of prey just hang out inside a bunch of bushes on the edge of the forest. Hear the whine of power puts out in the water and closer to little snatches of human laughter. Okay, Tobias, thought speak suddenly spoke in my head. Looks clear. You got a guy and a girl maybe 100 yards off, but I think they're making out, so they should be busy for a while. We had to demorph quickly. One limitation of morphing is you can't morph straight from one to the other. You have to return to your own body in between. In his case, return to his ant-like form, and that made him nervous. There are dozens of controllers just 100 feet away. Here's some looking when kids sitting around but don't know we're looking andalites. Are you ready to morph again? He asked me once back from normal bodies. I'll never be ready to morph a spider, so my teeth were chattering and it wasn't cold. I'll have to morph. I can't stay in andalite form. Yeah, I know. Okay, I'm gonna do this, but I'm gonna keep my eyes closed. Good luck with that. I felt myself start to shrink. Shrinking is always a little weird, but now I was thinking about some big disgusting balloon of Marco mass suddenly bulging out into zero space. Whatever zero space is. I feel like getting smaller and felt some strange things happening inside, some feelings of emptiness where organs are just disappearing. There was a shriekingly squishy sound that came out my spine and through my skull. The sound of bones turned to marrow, and that marrow sort of oozing away. I wouldn't be needing any bones, I guess. I kept my eyes tightly shut and I wanted to see what was happening. All about my fears of a death grip determination. I mean, if there's anything worse than being a spider, it was some disgusting mix of half human, half spider. But then, I could see. I tried to close, but no, I didn't have eyelids. It's hard to close your eyes when you don't have eyelids. Eyes were popping open on my forehead. Eyes were erupting on my head like zits. I was also right then. I would have screamed if I still had a voice, but I was already half spider. I was staring at Axe to underwent a change similar to my own. I was watching a vision that was half human, half the shattered, broken mirror vision of a spider's compound eyes. Something horrifying was known for a place where Axe's face should be, where a mouth should be. Something huge and bulging and foul. Two monsters swollen things like nothing I've seen before. They were jaws, but huge and outsized. And from the end of each one, a wicked, curved fang grew. Sometimes you really need eyelids. There are things you don't want to have to see. I knew the same thing would be happening to me. My bulging jaw parts grew to the air my own distorted field of vision, but fortunately I didn't have to worry too long about the jaws, so when they distracted my legs suddenly exploded out of my chest. Spurt? 4 new legs, 2 on each side, just shot out like I was a tube of toothpaste someone stomped. They all spread all Gumby uniform, then they began to form joints. Way too many joints. My human legs arms were changing to match the first spider legs. I fell forward no longer to stand erect. It wasn't much of a fall. It's already pretty small. The pine needles beneath me already seemed as big around as a human finger. Not that any fingers left to compare with. All the while, new eyes kept opening suddenly where eyes absolutely did not belong. Some were compound, some were not. And then as if the extra legs, mixed and matched eyes, and huge jaw and fang combo were enough, some new leg-like things conspired on where my neck used to be. They're like legs, but they weren't. I had no idea what they were, but they moved. And much later I found out they're called pedipalps, a sort of cross between a mouth part and a leg. My head was also swelling compared to the rest of my body. It was huge, in a small way. My whole body is divided into 2 big chunks, sort of a bulging head and even bulgier body. I was almost entirely spider now. The pine needles seemed as big as my fingers, now as big as 2x4s. As the last touch, some soft, strangely soft hairs began to grow from everywhere in my body. The hair seemed to trigger the awakening of spider brain. The whole spider had good eyes for a spider, but all thousands of tiny hairs really got its attention. They sensed every subtle clue in the wind, every minor movement in every direction. All of a sudden, it felt like the whole world was moving. Leaves, pine needles, the dirt beneath my claw-tipped 8 legs, bugs in the dirt, moles on the ground, birds in the air, all seemed to be hardwired into hairs that covered my body. With all that sensory overload, the spider brain began to wake up, and I was afraid it'd be like the brain of an ant, a mindless machine, or that it'd be terrified, fearful, panic-stricken mind of a prey animal. But no. Definitely no. They didn't call it a wolf spider for nothing. This guy was tiny, no more than 2 inches. A toddler could crush him underfoot. But it didn't size alone makes a prayer, because as soon as I felt the edge of that spider brain, I knew this guy was trouble. The wolf spider was a killer.